It is now public. It is a public meeting. This is Wednesday, the 13th of March, 2024. 4 o'clock meeting with the San Rafael Fire Commission has just started. On the agenda, let me get here. Do we have any members of the public joining us? We do in the room. Your name again, sir?
Larry Luckham.
Indeed. The former chair has joined us. Anybody outside? And has John chiming in? There we go. Allowed to talk.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yep. Hello.
Welcome, and sorry about the COVID interruption.
I feel fine.
All right. We'll have a vote on that later today.
Thank you for staying home, John.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, thanks for not being here. The minutes were distributed from the February meeting and read by everybody, I am sure. I found no omissions or corrections necessary. Did anybody else? Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is it seconded? It is seconded. All in favor? And it is accepted as presented. Moving an item on the agenda, number 4, up to current position right now. And that would be a presentation by both Donna and Captain Kleinschmidt. Because we have to learn about and hear about a scholarship program. Right here, right there. You can be anywhere you wish.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, my name is Captain Kleinschmidt, Kyle Kleinschmidt. I was requested to give a little bit of information about the scholarship that our association has started. Last year, I presented an idea to our association for a scholarship that could kind of serve multiple purposes. One, it helps us spread the word of public service to high school seniors. We're struggling to have it be a profession that people are thinking about, and recruitment and all different aspects. So one additional way to kind of spread the word of our great profession, not only our profession, but all public servants, is we decided to start this scholarship that I can't take full credit. I got the idea from a prior agency that I used to work for, that they've been doing it for a while and have great success with it. So what I proposed was money that's in, our association. Our association donated $3,000 to the scholarship, and we separated it to 2 $1,500 scholarships, one for each school. So Terra Linda High School and San Rafael High School. So trying to keep it local in our city. And it's open to any graduating high school senior that attends either one of those schools, and trying to keep the requirements fairly broad, because we want just as many applicants as we can. Then once they get in the process, then we can kind of filter it out and see kind of who's most eligible. So kind of kept it at a manageable GPA, anyone that has any interest in any public service whatsoever. So police, fire, hospital, social workers. We left it at, please apply and explain to us how you would like to be a public servant. And then we will obviously decide whether that meets the category or not. Don't think we've had anyone apply that, was outside the realm. So, again, our association thought it was a great idea. We were kind of struggling after COVID of finding ways that we kind of give back to the community, charity events, sort of stuff like that. So last year I met with both counselors, representatives from both schools, and they were very much excited about the opportunity. So with it being the first time, there were some learning curves to it of how to spread the word to all the students, that sort of thing. So We unfortunately didn't have any applicants at San Rafael High School, but we had multiple applicants at Terra Linda High School. So we ended up just kind of augmenting the rules a little bit and gave all of our money to two different, spread it to the applicants at Terra Linda High School. Luckily, last year, the Fire Foundation matched our $3,000, so we had a $6,000 fund to pull from. So we chose, after interviewing what looked to us as kind of the top candidates, we presented scholarships to 3 different students last year, which was super exciting. And we got to go to their awards banquet and present them with a big giant check. And so it was very, very rewarding and an awesome opportunity. And we're in the process right now. Applications are open for another little over 2 weeks at both schools right now. Some of our group went to the career fair last Friday at Terra Linda and are going to attend this Friday at San Rafael. And they had a great turnout this last Friday, passed out about 150 flyers for our scholarship, let alone just were there for the career fair. But gonna hopefully do the same thing on this Friday for San Rafael. Unfortunately, didn't hear back from the foundation this year in terms of matching our $3,000, but we're still open to like giving our $1,500, one for each school. So we're excited to get more applicants and kind of get to interview. So that's pretty much the gist of our, last year it was the 9/11 Memorial Scholarship. Just kind of something that we thought was a pretty important thing to honor. Our association had a great idea this last year to potentially change it to the Paul Crimmins Memorial Scholarship, which we all agreed upon and have decided to change the name. So this year it's now the Paul Crimmins Memorial, who is, I think most of you knew who Paul Crimmins was. He was a very influential chief in our department. So, and he passed away from occupational cancer. So very important person to have this dedicated to. So that is one change to this year, but still a very important scholarship, something that we can try and spread the word on. So here's a couple pictures just to kind of share from last year. This was the awards ceremony. So this was myself and Captain Lewis, who was part of the group that helped interview some of the students. Those are the 3 recipients. All were going into a variety of fields. So you can go to the next
girls apply.
None. Unfortunately, not this last year. So hopefully, I know of one that's already applied. I haven't seen all the applicants this year, but definitely have a higher numbers this year, which is promising. So yeah, these were the 2 top recipients. Like I told you, there was $6,000 we had to choose from. So we had 2 very, very outstanding applicants, and we decided to give each of them $2,500.
What happened to the other 1,000?
The other 1,000 is this gentleman here who came kind of in 3rd place. Just the other 2 were outstanding with their interview responses, all that sort of stuff. So we really wanted to kind of reward them with being leaps and bounds ahead. So, and then wanted to at least still give to a 3rd applicant. So yeah, those were the 3. Yeah, you can kind of cycle through.
Kyle, is there a follow-up where we get to hear back from them on, so 2 questions. Number 1 is the $2,500 for a whole year or for a semester? And the second question is, do we get a playback from the recipients to see how they're progressing along in their careers?
Yeah, to answer both those, yes, I personally have checked in with kind of all 3, reached back out to them. Just kind of, because I'm sorry to add on that. One of the things that I reached out to all 3 of them after we awarded the money to them was, please come back to us for any like mentorship. We're more than happy if any of you want to be in the fire service or have any questions in the medical field, anytime you want to come back and do a ride along, anything like that. Like, we want to help you through this process. We don't want to just give you this money and then just say, see you later. So yes, I've kind of reached out to all 3. They're all in college doing kind of different fields. Very thankful for the money that they were given and they were able to put towards their college education. To answer the second question, we didn't want to put all these parameters on. Once they got the money, they needed to like prove to us with their that they had spent the money at school. We kind of wanted it to be an honor system of, hey, if they made it through this whole process and were able to convince us that they were the best candidate, they've done this well in school and all this sort of thing, we trust that they're going to use it for the right reasons for school. And didn't really want to have to like have them prove after the fact that they did end up going to college and all those sort of things. So it is a one-time money. As soon as they've been awarded or told that they won the award, they can reach out to us and we sent them the check. And are just trying to kind of keep tabs on them of, hey, anything else you need from us? What can we do for you guys?
So the purpose of the money is to fund college tuition?
Correct. Anything, any further education, that's part of one of the requirements is that you're seeking either college or a secondary education or for a license or something that is in the field of public service. Yeah,
Okay.
so
Yep.
to be used for that.
So do we know where they went to school and did any of them pursue fire?
One of them went fire science, two others were in medical, were eventually after four. So, yes, one of them is Sac State playing soccer and doing his general education to eventually be a doctor. One went to Cal Poly and he was doing a fire science degree. Another one was going to, I believe, University of San Diego. He was gonna do his undergrad and then hopefully medical school.
And doesn't College of Marin still have a fire science program?
I believe so.
Yeah.
At least, I don't think they don't have an academy necessarily. Courses that they can
The
take.
AA degree in fire science.
Yeah, and we, at first, if
Might be why they chose at this point to not have it happen again. And I understand that. I mean, I get that. It's like, we've got a great college right here that offers fire science. It would be lovely to see the monies go there. I mean, we need people. So I think that was definitely the issue a year ago. I don't know. I don't know that it's even been brought up again on the agenda, Kyle, to be considered for this year. I don't know.
yeah, I just reached out via email, a couple times since the start of the year. And just didn't hear anything back, so I, didn't want to pass to everyone, so, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of share it with you guys, and if there's any other questions, yeah, we're excited, we're in the process, and I guess to further explain a little bit about it, yeah, the applications are open until the end of this month. Then we take it, they fill out the application, they get a letter for recommendation from one of their teachers. They submit it, we have it both via online or just through their counselor. Then we kind of review, we as a group, there's a couple of us from our association that kind of review all of them. Pick a top 5 from each school. Then we actually interview them because we want it to be a learning process for them too. And we want to have that interface to where they can start getting used to dealing with professionals and that sort of thing, that they can see how they start interacting because they're going to be public servants and hopefully. And then we choose the winner from that. So it's been a fun process for our association members also, and kind of getting to interface with some of the high school seniors and stuff. So
Great. Great. Any other questions from the table? Mr. Luckman?
I was around for the drafting of the foundation documents, and I can tell you that foundations are by law very strictly limited to what they can do. If it's not in the founding documents, they can't do it, or they lose their tax-free status. So
totally understand. And it's definitely nothing of a disappointment in them not being able to. Totally understand all the different, there's a lot of requests on them for different fundings and stuff. So it was awesome that they were able to participate last year, and it's fun to have, their big logo on the big giant check and all that sort of stuff. So, no, it's great and very appreciated, last year for sure.
You put me on your association mailing list.
Yes,
Thank you.
I will pass it on to our president.
Appreciate it. That's good.
Well, thanks for having me.
You can do it.
Any questions, please feel free to either reach out through our associate president or me directly. That's good. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
great program.
Thank you.
Great.
Yes.
Yes,
I just want to, with Commissioner Chung on virtual here, and we obviously have a guest today, and Commissioner Maris, welcome. I just want to remind us that it was an open time for public discussion, so that was for Commissioner Chung. As well as Commissioner, welcome to make public comment for 2 minutes, and then as we go along today, each item will be presented, and then there will be a chance for public comment, and then there will be a chance for discussion amongst commissioners that are present only. So I just want to make sure that we're clear on the process with members of
I
the.
understand that. And yeah, what I'm hearing between the lines is we have to be very clear in offering them an opportunity to speak, that it is on that topic at that point. When it comes to the table, they cannot or do not participate.
Correct, but I also just want to present the opportunity that for any topic, they can speak at the beginning here would be the time to speak on any topic that's not agenda.
Okay, fine. So having achieved what we did there,
So Thomas, are you saying that John Chung is technically a
member of the public.
member of the public?
Yeah, so they've changed some rules after COVID. During COVID, they were allowed to be virtual. That law has now changed, and so all members have to be present. Technically, by law, you can attend virtually, but it would require the commissioner to be in a public location and for them to publicly notice the agenda at that location beforehand. So we've just taken the stance of, commissioners need to be here. And with the 2 alternatives now, we thankfully have enough so that we can still work together.
That said, would it be appropriate to back up to the top of the page and offer, John, do you have any public statements you would like to make at this time?
Not at this time.
All right, Larry,
Nothing from me.
okay, we will move forward. The next item will be a discussion of the 150th anniversary. And I have a worksheet to hand out, which I probably should have had printed up and officially done. Take one and pass it along, scribble your thoughts and go from there. unofficially through systems unknown to mankind, John has seen this material. Basically, we have an event that should occur this year. It is the 150th anniversary of the fire department. Now, we've been talking about this a little bit amongst ourselves off and on since the beginning of the year. There was obviously a change in December in the administration of the department. There were conversations and in the middle to end of last year that an event would be created. And it seemed at that time that the leadership for that event would come from the front office of the fire department. With that change and with a boatload of other requirements placed on that administration, an event like this is now shifting to a yet to be decided group of people. But certainly we would be among those directing what happens, when it happens, where it happens, and what happens. So this basically right now is a moment for just looking at these and going, what's the best idea? Would it be several gatherings at 2 or 3 stations? Would it be one big blowout at one location? Does it involve the public by invitation? Does it involve the staff and management of the fire department and former members of the fire department? All of the above, some of the above? What makes sense? We certainly have an enormous amount of photographic history of the department that a certain gentleman over here created. There are a number of artifacts that are in a couple of locations. We have we have at least one historical truck, the ladder truck. Where does that live?
519 Forest.
Oh, no, way down there. Okay, yeah, right. Forgot about that place. And the 2 horse-drawn, are they still out?
They're up at that facility up at the Bristol Park. Yeah.
Okay, so they're still there. The wrong word, but are they ambulatory?
Yes, they're actually in excellent shape. The ladder truck, Chief Bernard can speak on that. I'm not sure if that is running or not.
It runs, but its ability to move it around town is somewhat limited and
Yeah.
very limited on drivers that.
Yeah, right.
You have to drive it, so a little bit of scheduling, but.
Yeah.
If there was a central event that was in the downtown core, we would be able
Right.
to move that, but
Or if
we wouldn't be able to send it out to Station 5 or something like that, so
Right.
we really try to limit its movement.
Got it. Okay. But it's an artifact. And it would be a draw to a public event. Seemingly. I mean, you could have one of the horse draw.
Well, not in its current state.
Well, we actually do get regular requests for it, it's just that it's pretty fun requests I've been.
It hasn't been maintained well. It's, it's not presentable. The 2 horse-drawn pieces of equipment up at Bristol Park are remarkably in good shape and with just a quick dusting off are ready to present.
Sure.
And to admire.
Well,
The truck is really in pretty rough shape.
Right, and we could take the 1 horse-drawn and then put it next to the one and only, I'm gonna use the wrong term, the what's it called, grade 6 truck, the pickup truck. The one that lives at 57, or did for a while. It's not a truck, it's a modified pickup truck.
The white one?
No, it's 4-wheel drive, or is it 4-wheel drive? Maybe it is, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what vehicle this is.
Yeah, okay,
I
we have trucks and engines,
Mhm.
but we only have one of these. And it's take a Ford 250 and put a back end on it with service bay. Not open top, and no top, I mean, it's just cabinetry along the side, all metal and all that kind of.
I'm thinking you might be referring to our Type 6 engine, which has actually been relocated up here.
Okay,
And just for clarification, the 38 could be, with enough lead time, we could make it a little bit more presentable and move it, like I said, if it was, as long as it was somewhere in the downtown.
oh, sure.
But just, I would need some, I would need some lead time. on
As,
that.
as you're hearing, we're all in the stage of making this up as we go along, and what makes sense to have happen, we'll work on. What doesn't, we'll let go. So,
Is there a specific date that
no,
marks?
that's the whole point.
Or is
There
it
isn't.
any point during the year?
No,
But do we know what has been done in previous milestones? I don't know if anybody remembers 50 years ago, but if there have been other milestones of celebration.
Not a clue. This is a first out for me.
Hmm.
And in the time I've lived in Marin, which is 50 years, I don't recall any event triggered by the 100-year for somebody or the whatever. So, I mean, again, it is a milestone. Okay, fine. What do we do about it?
Can I speak?
20 cents and create a postcard, and that's it. I don't know.
Can you hear me? Can I speak, Stan?
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
So I've been involved with the ones that we've done in San Francisco, and basically we just did a static display of apparatus. And we actually tied it in with Blue Angels weekend. We just put it down at Marina Green. So my initial thought, based on what you're saying, is perhaps, and this is just thinking out loud, we can, I can find out when the parking lot at San Rafael High is not being used on a weekend because they have various sporting events. And maybe we could do the static display there, perhaps, and then maybe have a live, demonstration of apparatus and fire operations at Station 2, coinciding with that event. It would just be for a few hours in the morning. And then that would just be like one of the bigger events. And it's just coordinating with people to getting apparatus there, people there, and then letting the public know.
How about the Marin County Fair? Like, could we get it put together in time and could there be space available? John, when you mentioned Fleet Week, right, for San Francisco, that kind of rings a bell. You've got a built-in audience. You got a lot of people there.
Hundreds, thousands.
Yeah, I mean, probably a lot of people from out of the county, but it's a lot of people.
Chief said, didn't the San Rafael Fire Department used to do a booth at the fair pre-pandemic? Yes, they did. I remember
Yes.
going to it.
Yeah, we did do one. Actually, it was the wildfire group
Okay.
and OES team that did it, yeah.
That would actually be,
An audience.
That's a great
Yeah,
idea.
it's
That would-
not new.
that would be good. Although I would think that perhaps a smaller static display there in conjunction, I mean, we don't have to limit it to one, only because I know there's a lot of local people, like me included, that try to avoid the Marin County Fair. Not to say that people don't go, I'm just saying that,
It's being recorded.
there could be more than one event related to this. Just a thought.
Could be July 3rd through the 7th,
Yeah, so it's coming up quick.
Fast.
March, April, May, June, July. It's a perfect,
I think the San Rafael Fire Department in conjunction with the San Rafael Fire Foundation would be a great blending to have both parties represented.
Well, and include the firefighters union, because we gotta make sure that,
I was gonna say that, but I thought, I don't know if they want that,
well, we could actually ask them.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
big theme of the Marin County Fair, with water, splash, conservation.
Just name.
Marine mammals, water birds.
What I recall about the Marin County Fair is that they have very specific criteria They charge for the booth space. The booths are, you have to rent a booth a specific size. And you have to staff it for the entire event of the fair, which could be a challenge for us to staff it each day from opening till closure.
So we wouldn't be able to put any of the fire equipment,
I mean, I'm not saying we couldn't, we'd have to work that out with them, but
be a challenge.
it could potentially be. But it's the staffing that in the past has been the real challenge. They want your booth staffed and
Right.
functioning for the entire.
That is typically a very hard week for us to staff.
For you guys, yeah, we would have to get volunteers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Are there any other events that come close to that, that draw a crowd
May Madness?
in the county? Or in San Rafael for that matter?
May Madness on Fourth Street? Where all the classic cars come out?
You know, the car show?
And then do they still do the Fourth Street, starting after? I think it's between Labor Day and Memorial Day.
What is that
Are
called?
they close off?
On
Fourth
summer
Street?
nights or something?
It's Thursday night market.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Richmond Market.
Oh, the dining under the stars and farmers market?
I sent you something. Could you put it up on the screen?
Yes. Email to.
I just send it to you and you can send it to yourself. Too much fast if I'm working.
I can just quote.
Chief Bernard, does
Pull
the
it from-
fire department, do they like the idea of doing 150th anniversary?
I think the interest is there and just,
Staffing.
it's.
No, I
staffing,
don't
it's the
even,
hard part.
I don't even think of us
You-
trying to
you'll
have
be
them help with
interested.
staffing, but just, would they like to see something like that done to commemorate?
Mountain View, yeah.
Spell it out of it.
Do they spell it out? I mean, you guys certainly have the capability to do this.
Is that specific fire?
Yeah, fire, 150-year anniversary. Yeah. 150-year anniversary. Mountain View Fire.
I reinvent the wheel, somebody's already doing it.
Yeah, no, thanks. No, Bob. There you go. Well, anyway, this is what it looks like on the screen. It's just,
Sunday, May 9th.
it's a parade.
Oh, parade.
It's simple. You can pull.
There you go,
pull-
you got it, you got it.
You can pull it off fast. And you can have some, I mean, you guys got the coolest toys in town. And you can be short, you can finish at Station 52.
National holiday.
Safety and recruitment fair. Just an idea.
I like it.
Yeah,
But you can make it happen quick.
yeah.
And,
I like.
all of the. Very small.
Mountain View is?
Yeah. I mean, they're part of the giant group of. I don't know,
Mountain View, I think of this big city.
Mountain View,
Yeah,
bigger than San Rafael?
I kind of, yeah.
Or what?
I think.
No, so if you combine Sunnyvale and St. Clair, maybe, or whatever,
Yeah.
yeah, aggregate them. I don't know,
It's something to think about. I think the thing that comes to mind for me is like bolting on to another event versus creating something of our own. And creating something of our own then becomes more difficult, right? You have to build the crowd, you have to,
yeah,
there's a lot of work behind that versus
do
something.
they still have that bike thing?
Yeah,
bike race?
yeah, in the fall, I think, the Criterion,
Yeah,
What's the
that gets a lot of people.
yeah.
When's the car show?
I don't know, I think John mentioned.
When's the car show, John?
May,
May?
Hmm.
Too soon.
yeah. But you know what, though? If you did it with that, all you would have to just do a static display of rigs for a
Well-
couple hours and then be done.
Lock up the corner and roll in. I did throw a note out to Leonard. But I never got a response, so I'm not sure what the foundation might be thinking, if any. Have you had any discussions?
No, we didn't, we missed our meeting last month.
That explains everything. We'll see. Okay.
I do know that when I made my rounds with Chief Bernard, the crew at station, down in the canal was at Station 54. They had plans, they had plans to throw an open house since they're back in quarters and invite the neighborhood. So I'm just saying that, you know, some of these houses already have kind of plans already in motion. And, you know, we could all tie it into this.
For the 150th?
Yes. Well, they were just going to do it to invite the neighborhood, show them their back and invite the neighbors, just like every year firehouses have the open house. So they would just tie that in.
Well, speaking of that, I feel like the Public Safety Center is a tremendous building with a lot of history in the lobby and would make a really nice setting for a party. That could be brief, could be a couple hours, you know, and you're done. And I'm sure we could all volunteer. We could find volunteers to serve beverages or bring out hors d'oeuvres or whatever, but depending on how big or small you want to do it, I feel like we have a building right here that could be used and also bring the public in to see, because so many people have never even been here.
I can talk.
Yes.
Okay. Couple things. I think that, trying to attach to
There's a meeting.
someone else's event is likely to be very problematic because they have their own requirements and may or may not be able to match those. And there's also a timing consideration as well as Chief Senator pointed out, various requirements that you have to meet. So the notion of attaching, whether it's the fair or the bicycle race or anything else is, I think is problematic. And I would suggest staying away from that. The idea of a party at the Public Safety Center seems like a good idea, but it's too small. And
Even with the outside area, they did it.
even with the outside area, because you combine the available area and the available parking and
Well, it depends on who you invite.
well,
If you open it to the public or just,
isn't your idea that it's a public event? So that's a decision to be made.
Yeah, it is a
So-
decision.
And the idea I have always thought was that it would be a public event.
you don't think we could accommodate 200 people here?
No.
Oh, I feel like we could.
Well,
The
you
outside
can,
courtyard?
yeah, no, you can put 200 people here, but when you put 200 people here and then they're parking, and keep in mind, you have an operating fire station and police station that's gonna be heavily impacted by a crowd of 200 in their home. So my thought would be, if you're gonna have an event, have it at
Off-site.
B Street, you know, probably
Offsite.
not Pickle Weed for a
Offsite.
variety of reasons, but yeah, so offsite. So those two things. The other thing is that both in terms of the timing and in terms of what could be presented, the idea of some kind of a big event is pretty problematic. And my suggestion would be, smaller things, but shift the focus from events to documents memorializing the 150-year history. That is, posters and presentations of various kinds that could happen at council meetings, neighborhood meetings, etc. And could go on not only through 2024, but on into the future and be sort of a lasting tribute to the 150-year history. That's it.
I like it.
Shut up.
Yep.
Too much talk. Just a thought.
That makes as much, if not more sense than trying to throw a four-station blowout. Probably easier to coordinate as well.
Missed Emberstone. That would have been something that we could have tied to.
Emberstone.
Emberstone.
Pemberstone.
Coming up, but.
Or what's the other one in the fall? What's it called? It's Night Out on the City or something like that.
National Night Out.
National Night Out, yeah.
Several things are coming to mind. One of them is the clock on the wall. We're not going to solve this today. So I think the next question from me is, how do we want to try and assemble these ideas? But I've got notes in my head and
Suggestion?
and everything else. That's fine. But then, go ahead. sir.
I was just gonna say, maybe establish a subcommittee to research the ideas that have been brought forward today.
Sure.
Corral them into maybe some recommendations or suggestions. You can meet with the fire chief upon his return and continue to maybe work it down to a few of the ideas and then bring it back next month,
That works for me.
something like that.
Does it
Uh,
have to be this calendar year? I realize that's ideal. I'm thinking about my 50-year class reunion that happened in the 51st year. Well, because
No,
I'm
I
just trying to
too.
think, buy time if we need it. Or like you were saying, you could have different events throughout the second half of the year, and if you wanted to carry it over onto 2025.
Maybe you could invite, maybe you have a subcommittee of 2 members from this group and you invite 2 members from the foundation.
I think
You work
Right.
together, then develop some ideas, meet with the chief, and then come
like
back
that.
next month and.
'Cause I feel like the foundation should be part of this,
Sure.
and
for
maybe
sure.
even the,
For sure.
no, not the association, they're just too busy.
I'll throw my hat on the table as number one who wants to join me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's- I can help too, Stan, as you know.
There you go.
And
there's
John.
three.
All right, we got three.
Stay under a quorum. What's the quorum, Tom?
2.
So you can have 2?
Oh, that's the minimum.
Yeah, that's
Or the max.
max.
All right, let me throw some ideas on paper and then I will communicate with, do I communicate all this through you or? I
Subcommittee,
can?
as long as you can communicate with
Yeah.
one other.
All right, one other.
So you should communicate with him. He's gonna be better than
Okay,
me.
John, it's you and me.
Okay.
And we'll see where we go. All right.
And will you reach out to the foundation to ask for 2 folks there?
I will.
Maybe we should, maybe it should come from you.
Sure.
And then if we have other ideas after this conversation, like next week, can we just funnel them directly to you? I guess, Thomas, is that okay? If we're not on the subcommittee, but we have other ideas that we want to filter into the process before next month's meeting, can we just,
Yeah,
Send those
you could
directly
send them directly. You can send them blind copy just as
Yeah.
thoughts to the group. You just can't discuss it. So if you have ideas, you can say, hey, I've been thinking this and blind copy everybody.
And no response
And I,
back.
or you can send it to me and I can probably copy everyone, but just know the response back, you know.
No talking.
Chair Burford, can I just make a suggestion, since you are the chair of this group,
Yes.
that you delegate out for your subcommittee members, and you do have two interested members, so maybe you retain your kind of your strategic role as chair, and you delegate out, you've got two commissioners that are interested in this, so maybe it's just a suggestion, there's no rule there.
No, I thank you.
If people were backing away from the table and you were interested, I'd say, sure, go ahead, but if you've got two of your commissioners that are willing and interested, you might want to just delegate it out as the
Right.
chair.
Ken, your hat's still in the ring? Okay, the committee then will be Ken and John. And,
You'll reach out to the foundation again.
and I will communicate directly to the foundation and ask for two people there. I'll do that tomorrow. And then move on. Okay, let's just bring that to an end and carry on with item number 5 on the agenda, current media coverage, and that, by the way, includes something that Mr. Luckham brought to our attention. Would you like to address that, sir,
Oh, well, sure.
since you're here?
So, all right. I think this circulated, this is just stuff that I pick up, in the ether, and this one caught my attention for a particular reason, which I'd be happy to explain. If this is a drone, okay, and it's carrying 2 fire bombs, these are, water fire retardant. This is a Chinese, venture. And there are 2 unique things about it, but the unique thing about it to me is that it utilizes counter-rotating propellers and blades, which does away with the tail. And anybody who's ever actually flown a helicopter knows that your feet fly the helicopter because they control the tail rotor. But the reason that it caught my attention dates back to, I'll give you some copies of some other things. This, and look at all familiar. Okay, that's dash 50. This is the D model. It's a turbine powered drone helicopter carrying, in this case, 2 Mark 44 Mod 1 homing torpedoes. This is from, well, my job in the Navy from 1960 to 1964 had to do with the payload, not the helicopter, but we had the helicopter on the ship. The Mark 44s were my business. And that helicopter was capable of an 80-mile range, carrying either the 2 Mark 44s in its bomb bays or 2 nuclear depth charges. So drones are not new. That's all. This is interesting stuff. Here's a thing that is, these are a couple things from, it's kind of different. This is actually this is a fire engine from the Czech Republic, from the city of Ostrava, dated 1960. No longer in service, that's in a museum. Here are a couple other museum pieces. This is the most recent one that I came up with. This is a
Motorcycle.
yeah, motorcycle. I don't know. You know any agency that used the dual bottle? I mean, that goes back a long way, like the 50s, the most. Not the
There's some YouTube videos that are actually relatively current. And there's a name for it. I can't think of what it is, but they atomize the air by the water. It was like it's a spray fog.
Yeah.
Just moist enough to chase out the air and smother a fire. And they do all of this with a motorcycle. They have a car on fire, a guy runs up to the fires out. It's amazing to watch. Thank you. Any questions about how soon we'll have the drone? No, I'm sorry.
And whether or not it'll have bomb bays.
Right, don't want to go there, sorry.
Well, this soon, right?
Hmm?
The drone,
What's that?
the drone,
Yeah,
but it's more, for observation purposes, right?
yeah, and communication,
Versus bomb carrying.
yeah.
Into commission member reports, David,
No report.
Ken,
No report other than to say, that the report, that, Captain Kleinschmidt brought, I'm going to this event, we've got, in our insurance world, we've got the Single Dispenser Foundation. They look for things like he was talking about, so I'm gonna bring it up to those guys.
excellent.
That's, they look around the United States for those type of things. And they're at this event called RIMS, U.S. Insurance Management Society, it's coming up in a month. It was awesome to hear him.
Good. Donna?
Okay, so I brought from firefighter Pete Martin, who was Marin County Fire Chief out of Point Reyes for many years, and he's now in assisted living. And from his home, he was a tremendous historian, so I brought it for the San Rafael Fire Department. That if we develop like a history museum of our own here, and in conjunction possibly with the 150th anniversary, it's unbelievable the records that he kept. They go back to the 1920s. And there's some fabulous photographs that if we do a multiple events or an event, he's archived everything beautifully, but the photographs are all vintage, great pictures, and they're all what they are.
Yeah.
So I was like, this can't get thrown into the landfill. So I got it from his daughter and brought it to the fire department to be archived. I won't bore you all with all the details, but it's unbelievable. The records that he kept, one of the big fires, Chief Senate, you probably were here at this time, possibly you too. The Portoswallow Tunnel Fire in 1961. No. But he's got all the records. It's like, wow, that we talked about, the fire department definitely deserves their own showcase out here. And I thought these
Yeah,
kind of things would
absolutely,
be
that'd be great.
beautiful to put, and you could have a rotating exhibit, Thomas, or someone like Thomas who could change the displays every month or every quarter. But, and I know you have tremendous things as well to donate to the fire department, but this is all going to the fire department. Couple funny things, I don't want one of these, trust me, but this was what his fire commissioner certificate came in. I'm like, ooh, fancy back in the day. So there was that. And then this, maybe Larry, you can explain.
Brush jacket.
But why would a fire commissioner, because he served as a fire commissioner too, why would we need these? We don't go to fires.
Okay, so those are brush jackets for wildland fire. And
And
many years ago, the fire chief decided that one of the things that the commissioners needed as sort of a perk was brush jackets. And the thought was that, okay, if you actually showed up at a fire in your brush jacket, then the people on scene would know that you were an official in some sense. Nobody in
this
the fire
brand new,
commission,
it's never been worn.
yeah, nobody in the commission that I know of ever went to a fire and wore them. Mine is pretty close to worn out, but
Photo 50, Fire investigator.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
photo 50 and 5 or 6 years of 2-week fire camps up at Shasta Trinity doing prescribed fire. So that was,
You used yours.
oh yeah, it was used a lot. It was used a
This is
lot.
another item that was in with the fire things, and I had not a clue what it was, so I brought it just as trivia.
I got her. It's sling cyclometer.
What is it again?
Sling cyclometer.
And what is it used for?
It's used for measuring temperature and calculating.
And it's no longer used in this,
Oh,
Have
there
on
it
our
is.
engines.
these?
Yep.
So here's an old one for them. I was like, what in the heck is this? All right, and that's all I have. The Fire Foundation I won't tell you why, but it's kind of sad, kind of like, oh dear. We did not have our meeting last week due to technical reasons last month. We hopefully will be meeting this month, so I don't have anything to report from the foundation. That's it. This is for you.
Thank you.
The city should, somebody should scan those photos.
We can do that.
Yeah,
Digitize them.
yeah, I just wanted to get it in a safe place because it was gonna get tossed otherwise.
We have a shelf specifically.
Beautiful.
That brings me up to a comment I threw out a long time ago. Because I was exposed briefly to the
Yeah.
modern mezzanine. The room. It is referred to as the mezzanine.
Right.
There's a storeroom in this building.
I figured there was.
Yeah.
That we could keep things
Yes.
safely.
Called
Sure.
the mezzanine because in the old firehouse, that's where everything was kept, was in the mezzanine. In the engine bay.
Yeah.
I'll say once again quietly, don't record this, that I'd be very happy to spend some time helping organize that room because it looks like a bomb's going
I
off.
think it has been recently,
Heidi,
yeah,
Oh, good,
there's been some work to try and organize it.
okay.
We can find that banner in there, did we?
No.
Grab it?
No.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Fire Chief Shore.
Thank you.
Fairly.
Hopefully you've all had a chance to review the fire chief's report. I won't go over it in its entirety, just touch on some of the highlights. Under the general update section, I mentioned that we noted that the Fire Foundation is looking for new members, so we somewhat advertised that in Hot Shot in the February 23rd edition, so hopefully maybe that has generated some interest.
Chief Senate.
Yeah.
Forgive me for interrupting, but I would say keep putting it in,
Okay,
please.
sure. Will do. Down at the bottom of the page, just under department staffing updates, our 3 new recruit firefighters have reported to work. And they're currently in the 10-week fire academy, which began on March 4th. Our 2 new cadets, have they actually started yet, Thomas?
No, they have not. They will be starting at the end of the month.
Okay, so we have 2 new cadets. It's a new program. It's an internship program that lasts up to a year. It is paid. It's up to 20 hours per week, so it's a part-time position, internship program, so we're looking forward to that.
That's
So
great.
that starts at the end of the month.
And are they just doing administrative things?
No,
or-
no, they're actually doing all sorts of different fire-related activities from emergency response support, training, equipment and facility maintenance, community outreach,
Wow.
administrative support, fire prevention, physical fitness, and professional development. So it's trying to give them an all-encompassing kind of snapshot, immersion, I should say, in the fire department.
Yeah, and I should add, Chief, it's intended to build upon their Explorers program to allow our high school students, when they reach of age, graduated high school, have somewhere that they can continue that kind of learning about the fire service. It is paid, which is a big, which is really important from an equity perspective, so to ensure that those that might not be able to take a unpaid internship, you can be paid and get that paid experience. And so we were able to, initially we had to post 1, but I think we had quite a few good candidates.
Wow,
So
Yeah, we had several, we had tremendous interest.
that's great.
and we tried to do a special outreach on some of our underserved populations here in the city, to really try to get some of those students here and into the service.
And to educate me, what is the wage? Is it hourly?
Yeah, it's hourly. I think it's something like $20 an hour.
That's good money.
It's
For a high school
2120 to
More than I
2337.
made coming out of high school.
Yeah,
So is the goal for them then to become firefighter paramedics?
Hopefully,
Yeah,
get them embarked on
Yeah.
their career.
how did we do that outreach to get people to apply for it? How was it communicated?
That was done through Chief Hopfield. I'll have to get back to you on that, but it was done through the Explorers, and then through some other. through some other
awesome.
channels.
Yeah. So
I'm very
looking forward to starting that, yeah. Over on page 2, at the top of the page, we're presently engaged in a promotional process with the position of fire captain. This is really updating the eligibility list, so we have people that are ready to go to step in to fill vacancies when they do occur. And we're also proceeding with recruitment for a fire prevention inspector to fill a long-standing vacancy. So we're looking forward to getting that position filled. Under the operations division, there's several incidents that were provided for you to review. At the bottom of the page, something notable, we had been experiencing kind of an outbreak of laundry room fires in apartment buildings in the Canal District. We had 3 separate fires within a 1-week period, all within close proximity to the other, all in the apartment laundry room, all started in the waste receptacle, each basically causing significant damage and had the potential of being a very serious fire. So we were on the lookout for that trend to continue. Unfortunately, it seems to have stopped. Police are investigating, so they're actively pursuing the issue.
No cameras?
No cameras on any of them, unfortunately. All occurred during non-school hours, either afternoons after 3 o'clock or on weekends. All within walking distance of one another, so lots of similarities.
Ignition device.
Unlocated, so not sure. Anyhow, so fortunately, those seem to have stopped, knock on wood, but we're very concerning. It's very. So then on the last page, just an update on the Explore program, which is just going great. Has a lot of momentum, a lot of interest, and really happy with it. Again, trying to promote fire service, paramedicine careers to the young people who live in our community.
So the explorers are from San Rafael exclusively?
There's
don't know.
there's a few that are from, outside the immediate area of San Rafael.
Yeah, okay.
So they're from Marin County.
They're local.
Yeah.
It would seem to dovetail with the scholarship, but it's like, hello.
Yeah.
Scholarship cadet
People of
program,
interest.
Explore program, we're really trying to get that ladder in place
Yeah, yeah.
and find local interest. And that's it.
Thank
Can I
you,
ask one
thank you.
question? Sure. For the response data, can we ever see things historically, comparing maybe month over month or year over year? Or maybe that's in the EMS report? It'd be great to just see,
Yeah.
like, what are the historical trends?
Sure.
Are they increasing?
Yeah, call volume is increasing annually. What I did do this time around, if you noticed, I put in some explanations of what the different,
That's good.
yeah, so I hope that helped.
Yeah.
Chief Senate, did that response data go into the Hot Shot News?
I
I don't think so.
Usually not.
And the Hot Shot News, can anyone in the public receive it?
Mhm.
The reason I bring it up is,
Yeah, you can subscribe to it,
Yeah,
and it's also regenerated onto Twitter. So if you follow us on Twitter, you can grab it there as well.
I just find that it's so educational to see these stats. Because it's just a huge call out that it's really not about the fires.
Did we used to put stats?
Yeah, there was a little time when we were doing EMS and we weren't breaking it down that fine, but we were just saying total.
This is really
calls and
informative.
EMS calls.
The 965 calls, I mean, come on, it's almost 1,000 calls, of which 13 were fires. Are you killing me?
Mhm.
You know, it's just, the public needs to realize what the fire department is doing. They don't have a clue, the general public. They just
And
don't.
also the frequent flyers too.
Right.
Yeah,
Not that
yeah.
you can identify that with these
Yeah.
statistics, but.
But today, I did the ride along. What a huge education. Not that I didn't already know, but it's just like over the top. They're going all day, every day. I already knew that, but to experience it and live it with them is like, the public doesn't understand that. And so I feel like the response times, if it's appropriate, in the hotshot news, if the public's getting it, might start to open their eyes a little more like, oh my gosh, look at the volume we're dealing with.
Good, thanks.
Any closing comments from anyone? If not, then
I have one quick thing, and this is for Ken. Ken, next month, well, let me give a little backstory. My friend bought a new place up in Moraga. And he needed to get homeowners insurance, and the homeowner and the insurance company that he used asked him a bunch of questions. Where's the closest firehouse? Are you near a fire hydrant? And basically they refused to give him, or they gave him a quote that was ridiculous, like $36,000. And they're not insuring a lot of people. So maybe next month, can you talk about that? Is that happening in Marin? Are people able to get fire insurance?
Yeah, no, it's a major problem in Marin County.
Yeah.
And it's taken it one step level or one level higher than that. Now, there's a community in the East Bay, very close to Moraga. It's called Rossmore. And those folks, there's $2.6 billion worth of values in this little community, and we can't buy enough insurance for them. So no one is lending them money. Fannie Mae won't buy the loans because the valuation of the community is $2.6 billion. We have $1.3 billion worth of insurance, right? And by statistically, there's 1 in 10,000 chance that it will burn to 1.3 million. So that's why we buy that limit, right? These folks are on fixed income. It's a beautiful community, but they can't afford to buy $2.6 billion, and nobody in the world would do that, right? But Fannie Mae's rules are so stringent that they're saying, hey, because remember the superstorms, they wiped out communities with hurricanes and floods and wildfires, and people just walked away from their mortgages because they were underinsured, right? So now Fannie Mae says, look, if you're not insured to value, we're not going to buy those loans from any bank that gives them to you. So it's a big problem. So yes, John, it's a very, Mill Valley is experiencing the same thing. I shared with the firefighters that I went on to ride along today. If you look at the brush score of San Rafael from 2017, 19, 21, 23, it recedes. The work you guys have done in this community is reducing the brush score. By taking those eucalyptus out, it'll even get better. So that's kind of what my point is when these carriers, and they will come back, and they're starting to come back, we want to make sure that San Rafael is on the good list. That like, hey, look at this community. They're special. They did stuff better than anybody else. But yeah, for that, your buddy there, John, he's just got to get a good insurance broker that's going to get him his fire insurance through the state program, and then buy a wraparound policy for his liability and his loss of use. It's a real simple deal.
Yeah, but I was more concerned about how is that affecting San Rafael specifically, and maybe you can just.
San Rafael is not that in that dire of a state. There are still carriers, Safeco, Travelers, those type of people that are on risk here and not getting off of them because of the work done in this community. But if you go to Mill Valley and some of the other Fairfax, if you're buying a home there, good luck getting insurance.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
anything else? No? Then at 5:09 PM, this meeting is adjourned.